first with FS1 NBA analyst Jim Jackson. Jim, thanks for being with us. Players are scheduled to meet again this morning, and the NBA's Board of Governors also scheduled a special meeting for this morning. Lakers owner Jeannie Buss had this to say: "I was excited to see us play and hopefully close out our series tonight, but I stand behind our players today and always. After more than 400 years of cruelty, racism, and injustice, we all need to work together to say enough is enough. Hashtag justice for Jacob Blake. Hashtag we hear you." And the Shams news from late last night reporting that every team besides the Lakers and Clippers did indeed vote to keep playing the remainder of the playoffs. LeBron saying in the meeting he wants owners to step up more. So, Jim, let me start there. What was your reaction to report that LeBron James wants owners to be more involved, to take more action moving forward?
Well, it's called accountability. And I'm going to go back to this. Listen, and I said this yesterday, it's always the right time to do the right thing. What bothered me a lot about these corporations, especially during the corona, and then because of the pandemic, a lot of corporations now jumped on the bandwagon, so to speak, in regards to social justice and racial discrimination, began to give money, began to advertise and do ads, social justice issues. But to me, the same issues that plagued this country were there 5 years ago, 6 years ago. The time to be courageous was when it wasn't popular. Right now, a lot of people jumped on board and said, hey, we want to donate to HBCUs. Well, HBCUs been in the same predicament for years. They've been asking for some kind of assistance, but never have really gotten it from the majority of big American companies. But now they've gotten it. See, history teaches us, and this is the thing that I love LeBron about and other players who have stepped up in this position. We as athletes are looked at as just play your sport and dribble, shoot, pass, hit a baseball. But history teaches us that no matter what kind of laws that we pass, whether it's 1866 Civil Rights Act, okay, after Reconstruction, the 14th Amendment, 15th Amendment, Fair Housing Act of 1868, Civil Rights Act, all these laws got put into pen to paper for racial segregation. You have to tell somebody that it's not right to discriminate against someone of a different color. You have to tell someone that voter suppression is not right. You have to tell someone that discrimination in the public workplace is not right. See, what it tends to lead to is the thought process of how you view people. See, because you can have all the laws you want in the world, but if your view, what you're looking through your lenses, still sees a second-class citizen with a person that's not your color, the laws don't mean a thing. And before we can change anything else, we have to change the mentality, or just the mentality, of the people in power who still view the minorities as second-class citizens.
And here's what's so crushing about this. NBA players are not asking for the end of systemic racism, for the fix of what is the greatest ail of America. They're not asking for anything more than the barest of minimums, which is for the folks who are literally paid to protect communities, not in many instances terrorize those communities, and then post-terrorization have no consequences whatsoever. That's what they are asking. That's what Cap was kneeling about when he first took a seat 4 years ago to yesterday. And that is what this movement is about. That's what Black Lives Matter is about. I don't care that there has been a narrative shift from charlatans saying, actually, it's about Marxism and the end of the nuclear family. No, it's not. It's about, can we have enough accountability to where Black people's lives matter? And Wilds, I thought Doc Rivers in the press conference that we played said something that is a hot button issue, but he's right about. Here's something the owners can do right now. Use their political leverage to break the police unions. Now, let me say this. I am the son of a 35-year-old firefighter union president. There are pictures of me as a little boy on picket lines. I am union through and through. But there is a toxicity surrounding the power these police unions hold over the good cops, the local politicians, and the mayors of cities. And if you don't think a union can be broken, ask the air traffic controllers. It can be done if enough powerful people want it to be done. If you want actual police reform, that's where it starts. And Doc Rivers knows it, which is why he commented on it. And the players know that, listen, LeBron can do more than a vote, and guys can do individual things. But something like that takes the power brokers of the world, of which many are NBA owners, to actually get behind. And to me, I think that is what a lot of this is about, Wilds.
So, Nick, that was well said. I was watching D-Ray yesterday on CNN, and that's exactly what he said. It was about repealing the Officer Bill of Rights, which happens in 20 states, that blocks a lot of accountability, and police unions that block accountability. Jimmy, I wanted to ask you a question. 1959, Elgin Baylor boycotted a game. 1961, Bill Russell and some of the Celtics boycotted a game. You played. That was before your time. Then you played, and now you've got literally a front row seat here. Can you put this moment in a historic perspective for us?
You know, I can, because it's a boiling point. And if you look back to those turbulent times, especially the 60s, that a lot of confluence of things came together, which led to the boycott, you know, that you just mentioned, okay? Because America was in turmoil in regards to race relations. What we've seen over the last 15, 20 years in regards to race relations, you would think that it would have gotten better, but it's actually gotten kind of worse and more segregated in regards to the thought processes. Historical perspective, because one, the bubble was historical in itself in regards to the restart of the NBA season and the platform that it was on. Second, for the Milwaukee Bucks to initiate this boycott was, I thought, calculated, well calculated, and historical. And also the context with that too, the Milwaukee Bucks, and to your point, Nick, using the leverage of the owner, was able to have a conversation with the owners, who got in touch with the Attorney General of Wisconsin and also the District Attorney of Kenosha County to address the issues of the shooting. And that's where having the ownership that have the power, that have the resource, that have the connections to be able to tap into those and have a deep conversation in regard to what needs to happen next. So historical, yes, in the context of what's going on. Where we go from here, I think, will add to that history with the actions of the players moving forward.
Jim, I always think that we should pay homage to the people who came before us as athletes. We always did that in the locker room. Man, thank you so much for paving the way, right? So you go back to 2016 when Colin Kaepernick took his first knee and really started the conversation around the second wave of the civil rights movement. So we got to say great job to Cap right now. The WNBA. There's so many players that's doing a phenomenal job. And we can possibly say they're the ones that are having the discussions more around social injustice. So WNBA, great job. Dom Smith. I mean, I felt so bad for the guy sitting there by himself taking the knee yesterday. And then after the game, you know, you're seeing his tears. Like, Dom Smith, man, stay strong. Naomi, she was the first person in tennis to actually say, I'm not playing. There's bigger issues. We have to show love to her. And then they wanted to follow him saying, we're going to postpone everything. I say that to say this, the football, my football community, the precedent has been set. We've been saying enough is enough for years. And it's only been words, and you said this earlier, Jim. Now we're seeing the NBA finally put action to those words. If I'm an owner, if I'm a coach, if I'm a player, like right now I'm taking notes and figuring out, like, okay, when this happens again, because it will, statistics show that this is going to continue to happen. It may happen today, tomorrow. What are we going to do in the football community? Now, I want to say, Roger Goodell, great job. Great job. Like, I don't know what the motives was and the intentions was in 2016, 2017. But where you've been the last 6 months, stay right there. We need more help. To the owners out there, Jerry Jones, where are you? There's 320 million Americans. 100 million are avid football fans. Phenomenal job by the NBA. But our platform, I would say, is even bigger. So we have 2 weeks to kick off. Get a plan in place. Players, come together. Don't be divided like we were in 2016. Do exactly what LeBron James, CP3, Paul George, and all these guys in Kawhi are doing now. It's the same message. It's the same voice. We have an opportunity to use our platform to do something even more amazing than you guys are already doing. So have a plan in place.
All right, well, we saw actionable solidarity last night from the players. We will wait and see if we see it again tonight with the lineup. Jim Jackson, thanks so much for being with us this